YouTube, FXG here with a little bit of Miami Dolphins news. This will be my first video for the Miami Dolphin news. I usually do DraftKings lineups and stuff like that for PGA, NFL, NASCAR, MMA. Those ones is about it. No NBA. I'm not too familiar with the NBA at all, so I don't touch it. So let's go ahead and move on to the Miami Dolphin news, and let's start with some Julius Thomas information. It appears that he's going to be traded for a 7th round pick this year, the 2017 pick, but it won't be able to be made official until March 9th. That's when the start of the season starts. He's 28 years old. I think it's a phenomenal trade for Miami for just a 7th round pick. He could go completely off, or it could just become one of those things where people just have to pay more attention to him, or not people, but coaches of the opposite team have to pay more attention to him because he is a good route runner and he is great in the red zone. He is very injury prone, which is, I'm pretty sure, probably the reason that Jacksonville is going to be moving on from his $46 million contract over 5 years. Miami is going to only be paying around the 5 to 6 million range for his first year. They could easily just cut him after the first year if he is just absolutely horrible, like Cameron Jordan was in the injury area, and just overall it just didn't seem like Cameron Jordan was playing very well even without his injury. And he just didn't seem like he tried very hard either. But I think there's an even bigger upside for Julius Thomas with how Adam Gase is very, very familiar with him. I know that Peyton Manning was the quarterback. However, he had back-to-back 12 touchdowns seasons. Peyton Manning, his 2015 season, where Julius Thomas also had 12 touchdowns that year. His last year of having 12 touchdowns before moving on to Jacksonville was Peyton Manning's worst percentage average of completions. So that does say a little bit more. I am not a big believer in Bortles for Jacksonville. I just think he was just got lucky. Not this previous year, but before that. And I know that is a big, bold statement, but I just don't think Bortles is a very good quarterback. People just didn't expect him to do what he did. They did not plan for him to do as well as he did. Somewhat similar to how RG3 had an amazing first year. But anyways, let's get on to more Miami Dolphin news. Tannehill, there will be no need for surgery. He will be ready for the OTAs. So there is absolutely nothing to worry about his injury for. It was the first time he got hurt in his career for starting for the Miami Dolphins. I don't expect that injury to affect him. If anything, he will probably have an even better year this coming year because his last year wasn't too great. So it should be alright for him. Dion Sims, tight end, is expected to be re-signed. He's not a phenomenal player. He's a decent backup and only just an okay starter in my opinion. Who knows if that concussion he had could really affect him. I know he played decent after that concussion, but that was a brutal concussion, and concussions do affect players quite a bit, it seems. Like Sam Shields for Green Bay Packers, who got cut. He'd be a great pickup for a lot of teams, but people will be worried about that concussion. Even for Miami, with how Miami's defensive backs are. The only good defensive backs is Rashad Jones, and Byron Maxwell is okay. Xavier Howard did not have a very good rookie season, but you cannot always judge them by their rookie seasons. Just look at people like Tony Lippett. For somebody that was a wide receiver, he did pretty well. For playing cornerback, Miami Dolphins also signed snapper Winston Chapman. There is a chance that he could take over from John Denny. John Denny has played with the Dolphins longer than any NFL player has ever played for the Dolphins. So there is also, John Denny probably won't lose his pick there, though if I'm not mistaken, it would save probably a little over $1 million in cap if they did get rid of him and went with this Winston Chapman. I don't know much about him, unfortunately. He is a no-name, so I won't comment on him much. Cameron Wake signed a 2-year extension for $19 million. In my opinion, one of the best defensive ends in the NFL, especially for his age. He's playing still like a beast when he's like 33, 34 years old. There's not very many players, especially defensive end, that can play like him at that age. Kenny Stills is expected to be a top priority to be re-signed. I'm going to assume that he's going to get a 3 or 4 year contract. I cannot say how much money he'll probably get, but he should be a top priority anyways, because he is just a burner. I mean, he does drop passes. They would have beat the Seahawks week 1 of last year if he just hadn't dropped that touchdown. And there's a couple other plays like that where that happened. Jonathan Joseph, I thought I would mention that there had been a little bit of rumor that he could be traded from the Texans to Miami for something. I'm not big on him. However, he would be decent for Miami just because Miami does not have very many good defensive backs. I don't like Xavier Howard very well. Even though it was rookie year, he just did not play very phenomenal at all. He was very, very below average in my opinion. Next, Brandon Albert. He's more than likely going to be traded to Jacksonville for a 2018 6th or 7th round pick, probably a 7th round pick. He was going to be cut, so a 6th or a 7th round pick is better than nothing in my opinion, and it should be other people's opinion about that. He would be due in between, I can't remember his exact fact, but it was in between $8 and $10 million. They're going to move Tunsil to left tackle and more than likely either draft or sign a free agent in the guard. And I hope that guard will be Kevin Zettler from the Bengals. He's 26 years old, Pro Bowler. He would be amazing for Miami to pick up. It doesn't look like Bengals will franchise tag him. Bengals have several players they need to sign, so it would be great for Miami to pick him up. Real quick, a simple mock draft. I see NFL.com. Nobody is ever right on this NFL.com mock draft. I would almost say that they're a joke when it comes to this because they very, very rarely get anything right out of the top 5. And out of these, Derek Barnett, Hasten Reddick, Taco Charlton, and Garen Conley, I'd say that there is a chance that they take Taco, very weird first name I must say, or Garen Conley, but however, I think Marlon Humphrey could fall to Miami as well. And my number 1 person that I think that they should take is TJ Watt, brother of JJ Watt. He had double-digit sacks. He would be great to put an offensive linebacker, keep Kiko in the middle linebacker, maybe keep Jenkins on the other outside linebacker position or draft somebody or free agency. So that's a good idea in my opinion. And that's going to be it this week for the Miami Dolphins news. I'm going to try and do this every week or two. I'm probably going to wait until March 9th to do my next one. For free agency, it's just so hard to think any of these picks are going to be even close to being right other than the top 5 or so. Maybe even the top 3. Myles Garrett is probably like 99% chance of going to the Browns. So let's just wait until March and see what happens. It's going to be it.